Namakwa Horse Trails presents Basic Lunging in Preparation for Long Reining, Part 1 with Anne Barnes. You may freely use this video to teach you and your horse, but you do so entirely at your own risk.
Unlike lunging, where you'll use a lunging cavesson, when we're preparing for long reining, we like to hook the lunge rein through the ring on the snaffle on the one side, under the horse's chin, and hook it onto the snaffle on the other side. When you change rein, you need to swap this rein around. Desensitizing your horse to lunge whips is very, very important. You don't want them to overreact at all at any given time. They need to be absolutely bomb-proof as far as the whip is concerned. I go very slowly with Carla here. She's a young warm blood and she's prone to dramatic moments, so we rather take our time with her. We do the whip closed and then we have it all dangly and rub it over her entire body. Remember that each time your horse stands still and you need to stop, then you can praise them for their good behavior. A stop in between is the best way of rewarding your horse. Prior to lunging, take your time. Take your horse to the middle of the lunge ring and take your time getting started. You don't ever want them to rush off and run away from you. This is not an exercise in panicking. This is an exercise in calmness and learning how to keep rhythm and balance while working alone, away from the owner, rider, handler, groom. They need to build confidence to be able to work out on the track all by themselves. So quietly push Carla around on the left rein. Everything that you do on the one rein, you will repeat on the other rein to help with flexibility of your horse. But later on, when you discover which side is the slightly stiffer side, you can put a few more circles in on that side. Keeping my horse walking, all I'm looking for is a quiet, consistent walk. And I'm giving her the chance to investigate and make sure there's nothing in the lunge ring that is going to frighten her. So we want a really nice quiet walk, at least once around on the left rein and once around on the right rein before we even think about going any further. That makes it takes the pressure off the horse and makes him a lot less hasty later. So then I ask Carla to come into me, and it takes a moment. Then I'm just going to change the rein over from the one side of her bit to the other. Said she's prone to a few imaginative moments, so we just work very quietly with her and allow her to be comfortable with what we're doing next. Sending her away from me, I tell her to walk on. I line my eye up with her eye to push her out onto the track. The whip is now in my left hand and the lunge rein in my right hand. I make a triangle with my body, the lunge rein in my right hand and the lunge whip in my left hand, and I walk approximately opposite her shoulder to keep her going and to keep her out on the track. To keep her going in walk, my left hand with the whip is slightly raised and the whip is pointed towards her hip. My right hand with the lunge rein was raised a bit to get her out on the track, but it subsequently came down to approximately between shoulder and hip height, depending on the height of your horse and the height of its head. When I want her to come into me, I'm going to relax the whip. I just tuck it under my arm if my horse is easy. I take my eye contact off and she turns in. Sending her away again, because you do not need to be predictable. When they've gone to the left, they don't always need to go to the right afterwards, and vice versa. So I'm going to take her for a trot on the right rein. First I send her away from me. She needs to get onto the track so I can raise my inside hand. I've maintained eye contact, and if I want her to trot on, I increase the whip pressure as well as add the words trot on. You may use any words you like, just be clear and don't use any words in the negative. Don't say, oh no, don't do this, because then they hear the word and they think that's what you want. Be very positive, tell them what you want. Once again, I send her quietly round in trot, and we're just looking for rhythm and balance and a nice quiet horse that goes into trot when you want it and comes back into walk when you want it to do that. It's also nice if your horse can get to the point where they're forgiving about the number of times you lose control of the lunge rein and the whip and so on and so forth. It's very important just to be yourself. The horses can get used to that. So we do another transition into walk from trot, and this time she didn't look in quite so much. It's a good thing that she wants to come in. It's a good thing that she wants to be with me. However, you don't want it on their terms. It does have to be on your terms. Take your time with the change. Give them a stroke in between. There's no rush. Don't put any unnecessary pressure onto your horse. Changing the lunge rein over from lunging on the right, preparing to lunge on the left. I prepare my whip, I lift my left hand up and let her go out, and I tell her to walk on, and my whip is towards her hindquarters. I've also raised my left hand, which helps to push her out, and I've made very firm eye contact. This will also help get her out onto the track. And once she's on the track, then you can release some of that pressure with the rein, the whip, and your eye contact. Pushing her up into trot, I raise the whip, add voice, and she moves smoothly into the trot transition. Once again, just looking for rhythm and balance. The distance I am from the horse depends entirely on each horse. So for Carla, I'm about 8 meters from her. I'm able to walk with her and she is unaffected by that. If your horse is harder to push on and is happy with you moving faster, you can work even closer to them. If your horse is more sensitive and needs you to have quieter body language, you can give yourself a longer lunge rein and move more towards the center of the circle. In time, it's nice if you can move around naturally and be about as close to your horse as I am to Carla, because it leaves room for change, for getting closer and moving further away. If you are stuck in the middle of the lunge ring with an oversensitive horse, it becomes really hard to work them the whole time. If your horse has done well in any particular session, there is no need to practice it unnecessarily. You can just end the session on a good note.
Thank you for watching. Would you like Anne to give you feedback on your training and riding? Well, become an Namaquahost Horse Trails client and then send her a video of your efforts. She will send the video back with her commentary and advice.